Senator Housakos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the government leader in the Senate. In his speech on Tuesday morning, Senator Gold said, and I quote, "I think the government is owed a certain degree of deference vis-a-vis the security assessment it has made. Every honourable senator can see the security situation on Monday night when the votes was taken in the other place was just as it was on Wednesday afternoon when the Prime Minister reversed himself. The state of the blockade, the protests, and the border were all the same. We were told that we owe the government deference, but everyone could see the reality of the situation for themselves. We also saw yesterday a number of Trudeau-appointed senators standing on their feet in this place defending these draconian measures. And of course, they were seeing enemies of the state lurking around every corner. So, Leader, what will be the impact of this sorry episode if, for God forbid, Canada faces a real catastrophe in a week, in a month, in a year? How will pulling out the sledgehammer in this instance help if we're to face a truly national emergency?
Senator Gold.
Let me try to be clear and measured. What I said and explained on far too many occasions was simply not that the government that the government relies not only on information that is public and was public when it made the decision on February 14th, but also, and properly so, especially as members who have been on the government side would understand, on information from police authorities and others. That's the first point. Second, anyone who actually watched what happened on the ground, whether on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday in Ottawa, I think would agree that the police acted with restraint, with responsibility. The behavior was exemplary, as many have noted in this House, and you know to whom I refer. These were not draconian measures. They were measures and measured measures to deal with a serious crisis. And that leads me to the final point to your question. You talked about what will Canada do when there is a real catastrophe. Others have said there was no need for this in the first place. The belittling of the impact of this occupation of Ottawa on the residents and cities, the harm caused to individuals, the abuse that people had to endure, the impact on our economy, on our credibility as a trading nation, and the risks that the government felt it had to assess properly and responsibly to make sure that the risks of returning blockades, whether to bridges in Windsor or elsewhere or any other port of entry, or occupations in this city or any other city, until and unless the government was satisfied, as it came to be satisfied taking the advice that it's been taking all the way through, it kept these measures in place for our collective well-being. This was a real crisis. Ask anybody who suffered. Ask anybody who couldn't go to work because their plants were shut down for want of parts. Ask anybody who was walking the streets and vilified and harassed and assaulted verbally because they were wearing a mask, they were a person of color, or because they were going to a health care. It is, and here you'll allow me to speak as a human being, not simply as a government representative. We can disagree whether or not the measures were appropriate or not. We can disagree whether they lasted too long. Clearly, there's a division of opinion here, although I was very gratified to hear. I'm entitled, with all due respect, to continue to finish my answer. I am finishing an answer, and I expect the respect that I accord you when you ask me questions. It offends me as a human being for the damage and harm to the individuals and to our country to be so belittled. And on that, I'll close.
Senator Housakos.
Senator Gold, my wish is not to belittle you. You know I have the utmost personal respect for you. But we have a prime minister, and the facts remain that who is ill-equipped to lead this country in time of crisis, who's ill-equipped and doesn't have the desire to unite Canadians, who's done nothing but provoke and stoke the flames of division, and that's the reality. And he had his government representative, and I feel sorry for that government representative, on his feet in this place yesterday, defending something which minutes later, while you were defending it, he pulled the plug on. That speaks volumes, and that speaks volumes for many others who were defending that yesterday while he was pulling the plug on it. The problems facing Canada and facing the world today are profoundly serious. We see that there's massive inflation is going on. Canadian families are struggling. We see what's happening in the Ukraine. We know the threat of China on our country and our Western democracies. And the Prime Minister at this particular point in time has lost international credibility. Where's the leadership, Senator Gold? Where's the Prime Minister's sense of personal responsibility for all that has happened over the last few weeks? Where does the Prime Minister believe this is yet another learning experience for everyone except himself? When will this government take any accountability in either one of these chambers?
Senator Gold.
The Government of Canada has acted responsibly to protect Canadians and protect our country from a situation that could not have been managed and was not being managed otherwise. And I, as the government representative, stand here not at all uncomfortable with the actions that the government has taken, and I remain proud and privileged to represent this government in this chamber.
Senator